What's happening, YouTubers? You stop with the Jelly Pot on the Jelly Pot channel. How are we doing? Yo, thanks for the support, guys. After the pre-sentence reports in my case, loads of messages off you, private messages, and that support's been wicked. Yeah, and there's a lot of questions now, so I'm thinking about, right, how I'm going to go about the channel next now, how I'm going to approach it. So, what I've decided to do is start off with the biggest question I've been asked next. After my pre-sentence reports, as you've seen, since 2011, in that 5 years, I did a lot of Christian stuff. And it's like, are you still religious, Jel? Do you believe in God? Well, we're going to get to all that. As I said, Rome weren't built in a day. We are going to get through this, and my crazy story is going to take a while. This video, though, is going to be, did religion brainwash me? How did it come about? Where did it start? Right. South Wales Valleys, I was born, Aberdare massive, and yeah, I went to Sunday school. My parents were devout Christians, and my dad's side were devout Christians. My mum's side ain't so much, her granddad was, but my mum is Christian as well. Now, I was going to Sunday school very young, just constantly, and they believed it, and they you know, that's just how it was. Now, in my first video on my Busted Cannabis Factory, I talk a bit about Hitler and the colour pink. And why is pink, you know, for a girl's colour. Now, me personally, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I've never bought a pink piece of clothing. That's because I've been brainwashed into that propaganda that Hitler brought about all that time ago. And it's programmed my brain into thinking that. Now, still, even though I know this information, still, if I went to the shop, I ain't going to buy a pink t-shirt. I feel like a plum. If I wore something pink out to the pub, I'd feel like a plum. Now, it's changing nowadays, do you know what I mean? And some guys are comfortable wearing pink. It's cool, like, do you know what I mean? I'm not, whatever, like, it doesn't really matter to me if someone wears pink or not. But, like, me personally, what I'm trying to say is, because of that growing up in the 80s and the 90s in the valleys, you don't want to wear pink. You'd have your head kicked in maybe in the yard or something. Do you know what I'm saying? So, Hitler, yeah, he managed to brainwash the masses with Mein Kampf. And, you know, they all followed him into his sick beliefs. You know, the Jews, blacks. He wanted the Aryan race. He wanted the perfect race. You know, obviously he's a wacko. Most people would agree with that, yeah? I mean, he said, yeah, his Mein Kampf propaganda and that, and the propaganda he spit out. Hitler said, make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they believe it, the people. So, if you've got some kid there, right, and he's going to Sunday school constantly, and his parents are always telling him it's an absolute, your brain's being programmed to that. You know, if you weren't brought up like that, you know, then you wouldn't have had that. But propaganda it does work, you know. Like, well, think of this, yeah. Look at Father Christmas, Santa Claus. All of us believed in Santa Claus when we were growing up. You get to a certain age where it's like, you don't believe in Santa Claus anymore, do you? And then it's stupid. But then if your parents who brought you into this world, they're always telling you for an absolute, your parents are the people you trust and you believe in them. So, you know, my channel as well is not going to slate religion. It's going to talk about my life, and it's going to hopefully help people. Because there's going to be people out there who struggle. This Jelly Pot channel, it's only been on 2 weeks, do you know what I mean? And like, it's got to evolve, and if people want a different sort of content, then that's what they'll get. But I've come to realise I could help a lot of people out there if they could get this information, if they're struggling with certain issues or whatever. So it's just getting that out there, you know. It's just, I went to Sunday school, I had that background. I was going to Sunday school all the time, and I always had that. So my brain programmed to that certain way to finding it. Now, the first big sort of experience for me where I believed, I was young, I was about 10, and I couldn't play football on a Sunday because they play football at the Sundays and the Sabbath Sundays, so I wasn't allowed to play football. That's all I wanted to do was play football. I was mad for it, and I couldn't play. So I cried out to God as a kid in my bed, screaming out to him, why won't my dad let me play football? You know, why wouldn't he let me play football on Sunday? It was within a year that my parents believed they had a message from God to go south from Aberdare to the place where we live now, and they believed they had a message from that. We got there, and where I lived, where we moved to, they played football on a Saturday. So if that's a 10-year-old kid and he cries out there, and that's happened, and you've always had that absolute, it's easy to believe. It's easy to believe. So That's just a little insight, just for you before we get on now and we crack on the stories. I've got loads to come, yeah. I mean, I could do, like as I said before, Goa, I believe I had Devine Intervention, you know, going around street healing. People actually believing they got healed. You know, like I've actually still speak to people and they actually still believe they got healed. Now, did they or didn't they? But I tell you one thing, I was the kid to have the balls to read that Bible and read what it said and go out and actually do that. You know what I'm saying? So I've got a lot to tell you about all that. I've got a lot of experiences. There's going to be loads coming, guys. Yo, big support. You know, I'm gonna give the shout outs as well to all the new subscribers. But I just want to give this 2 main shout outs. One to my man Use. Long time Use, bruv. Safe as, bro. Thanks for your support, man. You give me a right pat on the back and I really appreciate it. And also to the beautiful Betty Bedalo. Yeah, BGG. Lot of love. See you later, peeps. See you soon. Peace.